Hello. Hello. Okay. Alright, we're good. Let me share this. Top of the morning to you guys. If you're in the East Coast, top of the morning. Got some stuff to do today, but I figured I talk about this while I can. And first, let me just share this out to the people. Just give me a second. All right, so. Let me share this on Discord, and then I should be ready to go. For those of you wondering, I am playing Session. It's a skating game. I've been looking out after the game for a while. This game was originally shown on the Xbox Summer Game Fest, whatever the fuck they call it. Um, Regarding yeah, it was like what 3-4 years ago, and then I didn't really hear much about it. And then recently I saw the game on sale on PlayStation, so I decided to buy it, and I've been playing it heavy ever since. I'm still sharing. Just give me a second. Um, okay, I should have everything on. I should have everything ready. Make sure I have. I'm still broadcasting, right? Am I? Wait a minute. Let me check. Okay, I'm still live. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I thought for a second I was not live right now. Let me hold on a second. Okay. Just checking. Okay. Oh, no, as long as I'm broadcasting, I'm good. So yeah, I've been playing this game heavy over the last couple months. Uh, as you can tell, the game has some. I will say this about the game. Graphically, I think the game looks okay. The character models look dreadful. Obviously, this is one of those like second tier games, like double A games, if you will. Like I said, character models don't look great, but the cities they have 3 cities in the game. New York, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. Um, yeah, so you can tell here character models are not good, but the cities I think look good. Shout out to Ragdoll Physics. The cities look good. Like I actually think they look good. Um, yeah, so like I said, I've been playing this game a lot lately. I'll do a video later on in the year comparing this to Skater XL. Oh, nice. Ah, nah. Let me try that again. Yeah, so later on in the year, I'll do a comparison video between this and Skater XL. It was a game that I played like several years ago, very similar. Um, kind of realistic skateboarding game. So I'll probably do a comparison on it later on in the year. But today, I'm just doing this because I actually do want to talk about the Jimmy Butler situation. It's been several days now since he's been traded, and each team has played a game since the trade. So I'll talk about that as well. Yeah. So let me do this trick real quick. Let me see if I can get this off. Ah, damn. I did okay. Yeah, the game, is kind of janky. You know what I mean? Like, some of the animations look great, some of the animations look shitty. But overall, I do like the game. So, if you haven't tried it, the game is called Session Skate Sim. If you like skate, if you like Skater XL, I would make the argument that this is the most I would make the argument that this is the most realistic of the 3. So yeah, whenever you get a chance, try it out. Okay, so let's talk about Jimmy Butler. So like how would I start this? I don't want to go like all the way to the beginning, right? Because I remember when they traded for him. After he had a fairly good run in Philadelphia, he he was free agent. It was clear at that point in time Jimmy Butler had a reputation of being kind of like a bad boy, I guess you could call it. He had a bit of, because obviously Chicago, there are stories about him in Chicago. There are stories about him in Minnesota, including the infamous practice story, right? That everyone talks about. Then he gets traded to Philadelphia for I think it was a mid-season like it was an early season trade that year. I forgot what year it was, but it was an early season trade. He goes in there and by and large had a great postseason. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy Butler is one of those guys who turns it up in the turns it up in the postseason, right? And that's been I feel like that's been his way for as long as pretty much ever since the Chicago days. It's always been that way. He's a good regular season player, but he's an amazing postseason player, right? So yeah, so he's in Philadelphia. So he gets traded to Philadelphia, and then after the season, I believe it was the season where Kawhi hit the crazy game winner. He hit the crazy game winner, sent him out, and then Philadelphia, based on what I can tell, did not try to re-sign him. Oh, that was nice. Did not try to re-sign him. So he gets traded to Miami. And the first year, I believe the first year was the COVID year, right? Where, obviously, with the shutdown and everything like that. And up until that point, I would probably say the first 2 months in the season, Miami was amazing, right? You had Jimmy. Goran was playing well. Bam was really starting to come into his own, and then Tyler Hero, was a rookie, and was playing very well as a rookie. See, that's some of the jankiness of the game. But yeah, Tyler Hero was playing well. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Jay Crowder. I believe I don't know if he was playing well, but I know he had stints in the postseason that year in the bubble where he was amazing, right? So, obviously you still had Andre Iguodala. Like they were, for the good portion of the year, they were either a 1 or 2 seed, right? Then before the shutdown, they were struggling a little bit, and they got Oh, Moto, what's good, man? How you doing? How you doing, bro? I'm talking about your favorite player, Jimmy, Jimmy Butler. Oh no, I'm playing this right now. I'm playing this right now. Yeah, right now I'm playing this. Yeah, the game is called Session. Hey, that would have been really great if it connected all the way. Yes, Session Skate Sim. So yeah. So for a while. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, Go ahead. Let me see. Let me go to the YouTube page because your words are getting cut out on PlayStation. So let me try to look. Your words are getting cut out on. Got in his way. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about all that in a second. But yeah, we'll talk about all that in a second. But yeah, like so they struggled a little bit. That's why they fell down to the fifth seed. But make no mistake about it. That team, that bubble team, they were either a 1 or 2 seed for a good portion of that year, right? And the guy who was the big catalyst behind it was Jimmy Butler. And obviously he has the finals run. Um, he was great. Against LeBron and the Lakers, but the Lakers had they were too talented. They were with LeBron and AD, it was just too much, right? And they really galvanized the city with their play. Nice. They really galvanized the city with their play, and that there's several reasons why I will always be a fan of Jimmy Butler, despite how it ended, and that is really one of the reasons why. Nice. It didn't look great, but I still got it done. And then fast forward to 2023. They're a seed. Really pretty much looked like it the whole year. And then out of nowhere, they really started coming along, and then Jimmy had the game 4 where he scored 56 points. I agree with you on there, Malta. But yeah, I'll get to that a little later. But he he had the 56-point game, and I would argue that it's the I don't want to say it's the greatest performance in Heat playoff history because like you said, you have LeBron game 6 in Boston. I know Dwayne Wade had I know Dwayne Wade had a couple of great games as well. Obviously his entire NBA finals was amazing. Oh, you want me to lower the volume on the PS5? Okay, hold on. Let me lower the volume on the game. What's going on, Steve? How you doing? Let me see. Let me put the master volume to about. I'll put it to 50%. Let me know if it's better, Steve. Hold on a second. It don't sound better in my headphones. Hold on. Give me a second. me put it at 25. Okay, that should sound better. Just let me know if it does. Um, yeah. So not even close. Really? Well, hold on a second. Give me a second. Let me test this out. Then out of nowhere, they really started. I'll put it 50%. Let me know if it's better, Steve. All right, Malta says it sounds fine. Okay, all right, so it's much better. All right, good. Okay. All right, so let me address this with Malta. He said I think with those two they can reach the promised land. Now they have Wiggins, who already is a champion. Um, yeah, like I said, I'll address that a little bit later. Just remind me. Yeah, just remind me. But yeah, man, like like when it comes to playoff performances, like Jimmy Butler's that dude, and that will never ever change for me, right? Like I will always, I will always respect Jimmy Butler and his and what he's done for the franchise. That will never go away. However, when the talk of the extension started, I knew I knew that it was the beginning of the end because most people kind of know how he is, right? Even if you don't know all the stories behind the scenes, you kind of know how he is, right? And the one common theme everywhere, everywhere he's been, the problem has always been money. That's always been the issue, which is money. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not begrudging people getting their money. Beautiful. Now, I'm not begrudging people getting their money, all right? But we know what this is. We know what this is about. We know it was about the money. And Riley made the comments after last season, where Jimmy got hurt in the play-in, and then and then Miami got bounced by Boston, and even yesterday when Miami played Boston yesterday, we're not they completely surpassed us. Ah, man, it was terrible. Yeah, they completely surpassed us, and that playoff was frustrating. You know what I mean? And like when the contract extension talk really started, and then Riley made the comments about Jimmy made comments saying that they would have won if he was there. I don't believe so. Because I think that Boston team was just better. But whatever. He gonna believe what he believes. Riley made the comments, and then you kind of knew at that point that it was not going to be a ceremonious end to his career. You kind of knew. With that said, and plus also for me personally, I felt like the team as is ran its course. So if you're the Heat, you're not going to pay him. I think it was naive of them to believe that. Oh man, that's funny. It was naive of them to believe that this was not going to be a possibility when it comes to Jimmy, right? Like, you got him in large part because of his I guess you could say off the court antics, right? That's how you got him. And then everything was good for the most part. Like I said, we don't know any stories coming out you know about any issues behind the scenes. I'm sure there were, but at the end of the day, as long as it stayed out of the mainstream press, then that was beautiful. That was beautiful. But as long as it stayed out of the mainstream press, it was pretty much fine. And they had a lot of success with him. You know, they had a lot of success with him. Not didn't win a championship, unfortunately, but they had a lot of success with him. But this was bound to happen when you weren't gonna pay him. And then he made the comments about oh, I'm just gonna go hoop. Um, and he was doing that for the most part of the season. It pretty much went pretty much as scheduled. They were inconsistent. Even though Tyler was having his best year, Bam was struggling for a good portion of the season. He's been a lot better lately, so I'm happy about that. But the team was inconsistent, and they had a lot of young talent, like Mota mentioned. They have a lot of young talent on the team, so that's gonna take time to develop. And if you're the Heat, you can't be you can't claim to be title contenders while also having all this young talent, because clearly you want both sides of the coin. And I get it. I get it. Like I get it. When Hassan was here, Bam was really starting to emerge, and Bam was getting a lot of good minutes because Hassan was very immature despite being a lot older. But Bam was getting a lot of time when he was younger. Same thing with Tyler. Tyler had great playoff performances when he was a rookie during the bubble. So I get it, but when you have Jaime, you have Khalil Ware, you have Niko Jovic, you have a lot of young guys who are not seasoned yet, right? You have a lot of young guys who aren't seasoned yet. So you're sitting there on one side of your mouth saying that we're title contenders with Jimmy Butler, and then on the other side you have these young talent who are big rotation guys who technically are not ready to be on that championship level. So they had to make a decision, and the fact that they went into the season, yeah, nice. They went into the season like this is a fault on them. Is a big fail on their part, and like, but for a while, Jimmy was on his best behavior, and then at least on the surface, right? And then one day, he gets hurt. No, yeah, he twists his ankle, and they said that he's out with a stomach virus. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how a turn ankle turned into a stomach virus, but I think in my opinion, here what I think happened. In my opinion, what happened was that he was like, "Yo, I'm not playing hurt for this team anymore." And that's in my opinion, that's what happened. And then he comes back, and then you can just tell he's not the same player, right? He's shooting, like I said. I made the contention. When me and Steve were talking about this, I made the contention about the one-legged threes, right? Him shooting one-legged three. Like, the dude, you know, is what, a career, what, 33, 34% three-point shooter, and he's shooting him one-legged. Like, fuck out of here with that bullshit. And then, but the real way you can tell Jimmy wasn't trying was on defense. Like, one of the things about Jimmy Butler that has always been a big fan of for me. Multi, I'll read all your comments in a second, right? Don't worry, I got you. Don't worry, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to get this point off. But I see what you're saying, and I'll address all of them. What annoyed me the most about what Jimmy Butler was doing was the one thing that I've always loved about Jimmy Butler was his defense. Right, he was a ball hawk. Like, again, being a 30-point scorer it's not really Jimmy's game. He'll do it in the playoffs, but that's not really his game. But the one thing that you can tell off rip about how good of a player he is on defense. Ball hawk, he'll defend the best player. He don't give a damn, and he was not doing that near the end. And to me, what frustrates me about the season is that you have this dude on here, on the team, who don't want to be there. So why is he playing? Why is he starting? If he don't want to be here, I understand not wanting to trade him for the sake of trading him. Let me go to another city. Let's go to New York. It's kind of like the main. This is literally the main borough of the game. Like borough. Like this is the main. This is the main setting in the game. So yeah, like I was saying, I didn't. I wasn't. All right. So after he leaves, right? And no, no, my bad. Let me go back. Let me go back. All right. So he doesn't want to be there. Clearly, by his play, he don't want to be there. And let me try to do something like this. Yeah, he don't want to be there, and but yet he's playing these games. And then after that, the suspension start. Right. So what was the first one? What was the first suspension? It was after. What was it? It was the no, it wasn't the Pelicans game. It was was it the OKC game? They got smoked, and it was clear. It was even in the Pelican game. It was clear he wasn't trying. It was clear he wasn't trying, and it was after the no, it wasn't the OKC game. It was I don't remember. It doesn't even matter at this point. It was clear he wasn't trying. He made all the comments about, oh, I can't get my joy back and all the other bullshit, and they suspended him. And I was fine with it because at the end of the day, like, bro clearly doesn't want to be there. So why have him there? I just wanted him out of the club. Like for me, like I said, I don't like outside of Dwayne Wade, like and a couple other Heat players that I will always have respect for. I'm not the type of person who falls in love with players, right? Like I'm pretty much about the Heat first. And I'm a huge Jimmy Butler fan. And I was a huge Tyler Hero fan. I was a huge Bam Adebayo fan. I'm a huge Bam Adebayo fan, but I'm a Heat fan first and foremost. That's my team. And if you're a player, I don't give a damn who you are. If you're a player that is making a stink, all right, man. Have a good day, Malta. Don't worry. I'll address your comments. Any questions you have, I'll answer them on the Discord. Um, yeah. So like I was saying, right? Like I'm a Heat fan first and foremost. Then that will never change. I know there's a lot of people who are big Jimmy Butler fans. I'm one of them, but I'm a Heat fan first and foremost. So for me, I don't like. I was happy with him getting suspended because what was he doing out there? He wasn't doing anything, and he's trying to cause problems. Get his ass out of here. So then he come back, and then the whole flight situation happened, and he suspended for pretty much 2 more games, right? I was like, shit, I was fine with it. I was fine with it. I didn't give a shit. Like flights or whatnot. I didn't give a shit about that. And then the last suspension was when he was informed that he wasn't starting, right? And then he gets indefinitely suspended and then ultimately traded to the Warriors. And to me, all right. So I'll address that in a second. I'll address that in a second, Steve. So and to me, I was glad it happened that him getting traded finally happened. Like I said, I have nothing against Jimmy, but do I care what he does in Oakland or Golden State? Absolutely not. I don't give two flying fucks what he does. Will he make the team better? Maybe. I don't care if he does. I legit don't care if he does. Now again, I will always have respect for Jimmy. I will always have love for Jimmy. But if you're not a Heat player, I kind of don't care about you. It is what it is. What it is. It is what it is at this point. Based on what we got, I like what he did. You know, and let me also say this. When it comes to Andrew Wiggins, right? I like Andrew Wiggins as a player, but the one thing that Heat fans need to stop doing is acting like he's a superstar. And they keep bringing up the championship that he helped Golden State win in 2022. And yeah, he was awesome in that series. But has he been that way since? I don't think he has. Because truth be told, if he was still that guy, Golden State don't trade him. If he was the guy that helped them win the championship in Golden State, he's not getting traded. If he was still that guy, no, he's a good player, good two-way player, but he's not on Jimmy's level. He's not. So let's stop pretending that he is. Let's stop pretending that he is. Now Davion Mitchell, I think he's a good player, good defender. Definitely need that for this team. And then Kyle Anderson, I don't give two shits about Kyle Anderson. Seems like a nice guy, but I don't really care. Um, I like what the Heat did. Now, what this Heat team is now, is they're a team that is going to struggle at times because as good as Tyler has been this year, he has struggled a little bit lately. And thankfully, Bam is back to normal. They don't really have much scoring punch off. They don't really have much scoring punch because their team. For one, Terry Rozier, that dude sucks. And I have to call out Spo for this. And I don't like doing this because he's an all-time great coach, but Spo's been garbage this year. I'm sorry, he's been garbage this year. Even when Jimmy was here, the rotations were garbage. I didn't like the rotations. I don't like the fact that Highsmith isn't playing more. I don't like the fact that Duncan's not playing more. And I've been hard on Duncan Robinson in the past, but he's your only he's your like him and Hero are your two most reliable 3-point shooters, right? Why is he not playing more? I get maybe he's not a great defender, but you have guys on that team that can't defend worth a lick. And collectively they have moments where they can't defend worth shit. So why is he not on the floor? But yet we have to watch fucking Terry Rozier build a brick house on the court for the last fucking year. I'm over this shit. You know what I'm saying? And overall, I don't like him slow rolling Khalil Ware. I don't like what else do I not like? I don't like the inconsistent minutes with Highsmith and some of the other players. Like I don't get it with Spo. Right? Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, fire him. I'm definitely not gonna do that. But I'm sick and tired of the rotation. It's garbage. I'm tired of seeing Terry Rozier on the court. And I know he's trying. But fuck, man, like he's not playing well. So why the fuck is he still on the court? Beautiful. That was beautiful. That what I just did. Fuck, man, it's frustrating. All right, but yeah, this team is gonna be a work in progress. You know what I mean? Like as good as Tyler and Bam are, they're not elite. They're not elite scorers. They're not. They're not elite. They're not elite players. Like Bam is an elite two-way player, but when it comes to like one side of the ball or the other, like he's not like that. Like he's not like Jason Tatum. And also let me also say this. I'm gonna say this to Steve and Malta, who keep playing this game that Jason Tatum is not as good as Jaylen Brown. Look at their numbers. One is clearly better than the other, and it's not close. It's not close. Jaylen Brown, he didn't play yesterday, but Jason Tatum did, and he beat the brakes off of us yesterday. He beat the brakes off of it yesterday. And trust me, Steve, I'll address your points in a second. I just want to get the main point off. Um, yeah, but they're a team that are littered with young players, so it's gonna take time, and it's gonna be frustrating for a lot of Heat fans because they're coming off of the Jimmy era, but this team is gonna have to. This is what the team is going to be for the foreseeable future. They're going to be a young team that is going to struggle at times. either offensively or defensively, because like I said, they have a lot of young players who are inconsistent, and that's what young players are. They're inconsistent. So as far as like Jimmy being gone, it had to happen. It had to happen because he didn't want to be there, and the worst thing you want is guys there who don't want to be there. And if they don't want to be there, get them out of there. It's that simple. Get them out of there. Now, before I start answering questions, right? Where do I rank Jimmy Butler all time? As far as Heat player goes, I have to put him in the top. As far as like overall performance, now there's a difference. If you talk about importance, it's Wade, it's Shaq, it's LeBron, and it's Mourning, right? That would never change. It's, like I said, Shaq, Dwayne, Alonzo Mourning, and Shaquille O'Neal, and Mourning because he was the first true superstar that the Miami Heat had. Remember, they had Glenn Rice, and I love Glenn Rice, but he wasn't a superstar. At that time, he wasn't. Alonzo Mourning was a superstar, right? So he was Miami's first superstar, and he was the best player on at the time were the best Heat teams, right? The '97 team where they won. How many games did they win? 61 games. Yeah, they won 61 games, and they lost to Chicago in the Eastern Conference Finals, right? So he was a big part of that team. Shaq, because he was the first, like, if Mourning is a superstar, Shaq is a megastar. You know what I mean? Like, and that was the first time. That was the first time, bro. I'm. All right, I will address this point in a second, Steve. Give me a second. All right, so Shaq, obviously the first megastar, and really was one of the patriarchs to us winning a championship. And then you have Dwayne Wade, right? The greatest Heat player in the history of the sport. That goes without question. The greatest player in Heat history. I don't know what I said before, but he's the greatest player in Heat history. The catalyst to all three of our championships. Goes without saying. And then LeBron James, the most accomplished Heat player in the history of Miami Heat basketball. 2 MVPs, 2 final MVPs. That goes without saying as well. As far as overall performers in Heat history, Butler's in the top 4. You have Dwayne, you have LeBron, and then you have Jimmy Butler. I'm not gonna put Shaq on there because Shaq, as great as he was, he didn't win Finals MVP. He didn't win MVP. He didn't win Finals MVP. Right? He led us to one NBA championship. Well, but Dwayne Wade was the best player on that team. Right? I can't say Mourning because, like I said, even though he did win a championship with Miami, like when in his heyday, they really only got to the Eastern Conference Finals once. Then, other than that, like obviously I'm not gonna put Chris Bosh on there, even though he definitely deserves his respect. But when it comes to pure accomplishments, Jimmy's in the Mount Rushmore. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is in their Mount Rushmore. Not only with the finals runs, he has arguably one of the greatest playoff performances in the history of Miami Heat basketball with the 56. And he has other performances as well that I can't think of off the top of my head. But yeah, Mount Rushmore Heat player. Yeah, as far as performance, he's in the Mount Rushmore. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yeah, it sucks that it ended this way with Jimmy, but at the end of the day, it had a shelf life, and that shelf life is over. It's now time to concentrate on the youth, on the young players. And it's not going to be easy. As talented as some of these guys are, they're still young. Khalil Ware, I'm a big fan of Khalil Ware, but he's young and he's not gonna be great all the time. Like Niko Jovic, right? He's young, he's a very talented player, but he's young. He's gonna be inconsistent. Jaime Jaquez, I know he's been struggling this year for the most part. He's young. I'll give him time. I'll give him time because he's young. And then Pelle Larsson, he doesn't really play that much, but he's young. I like what I see from him. This is a time for Miami to finally start the rebuild. Pretty much, right? It's time to start the rebuild. And if it meant Jimmy leaving, then so be it. It should have happened. It should have happened at the end of last year. But it is what it is. Jimmy's off in Golden State, doing his thing, and Miami gotta do their thing. Build this team up to be something good, like Mota said before. So let me address, since Steve, I'm sure you're still here. Let me address some of your points, right? So let me go on the phone. So let me address some of your points, right? Let me go to the. All right, let me go to the messages. Let me go to the messages. Okay. Okay, so you talked about the volume story. Okay. You shouldn't be happy when he admitted that he doesn't play hard in the regular season. No, the reason why I said what I said was because I remember we had an argument about this. I said what I said because I know that he's not trying to not play hard. I think you misinterpreted what he's not going to go as hard because he has to pace himself. Because Jimmy does have a bit of an injury history, so he's not gonna go balls to the wall for every single game, and I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, I know as long as he's trying on defense, I don't have a problem with what he's doing. I don't. Oh damn! Let me try that again. I don't have a problem with how he played the game. Oh man. I'm trying to do like a late flip. There you go. Got it done. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with what he did because I watched him play. Like he like up until the end, he wasn't dogging it out there. Like he just turns the level up in the he just turns the level up in the postseason, and I don't have a problem with that. The results show how great he was in the postseason, and that's really what matters to me more than anything else. So okay, so we also said, all right. So Charles was spot on when he said you're not in your prime, so why expect a max contract? I mean, look, in theory, I don't have a problem with what Charles said either. But if you're someone who wants to get paid, you think you're gonna be logical about it? No. If I go up to someone and tell them, oh, I want $1 million, right? I'm not gonna be like, oh well, I don't deserve $1 million because of this. No, I'm just gonna say I want $1 million. That's it. Like guys are gonna want their money no matter what. And trust me, the one thing that athletes are delusional. I guarantee you, if you ask Michael Jordan today if he can play with these young guys, I guarantee you he's gonna say yes. Or let's say more so let's say if he was like 44 or 45, right? Like when he just retired. I guarantee you he's gonna say, give me one game and I'll roast all these young dudes. Athletes are delusional in nature. So why would he not want his money? Again, I agree with what Charles is saying. And I agree by part I agree with what you're saying. But most athletes are delusional. They're not gonna think logically about it. They're just gonna want their money. So you're saying that I guarantee you he still thinks that he can still play at a high level. So why is he not gonna? So if he believes that, and look, he never said it, but actually I think he has said it. And why would he not want to believe that he can that he can play at a high level and get the money that he feel like he deserves? Like that's just how athletes are. That's how a lot of people. Truth be told, that's how a lot of people are. They're gonna feel like they deserve this and that when it comes to their money. So what else did you say? You take your time, but I'll say this: Jimmy can't win if he's the best player on any team. If he's the second, like he wasn't for then for the 76ers, then yes. Um, I mean, ultimately, like you're going to be proven right on that. Even though, like, as the second best as the best player on the Heat, he got close, but he didn't get. Ultimately, he didn't get it done. It is what it is, right? Now in Golden State, he's the second best player on that team. They do have a hill to climb. Well, actually, truth be told, I gotta be real with you. He may actually be the best player on that team. Like Steph Curry, he's been okay this year. He's been good this year, but he's not the same Steph Curry. He's not even close. And there's going to be moments where Jimmy Butler is the best player on that team. And in order for them to, if they even want to sniff winning a championship this year, Golden State, Jimmy Butler is probably going to have to be the best player on that team. On some nights, not all nights, but he's going to have to be the best player on that team on some nights. And but that's the reason why they got him. All right, so okay, so what I just did now, let me just explain this real quick. What I just did was I did what they call a signature trick. Like when you go to like a certain spot in the city and you do a trick, then you do like certain tricks, it'll pop up it'll pop up that notification will pop up. Right? So, but the funny thing is that they don't tell you like they don't tell you where the places are or what to do. You have to look online to do it. They don't tell you in the game. You have to look online to do it, which is good and annoying at the same time. If you're old school gamer, you kind of know that back in the day we had to look stuff up to find like secrets and stuff like that. But today, if you just want to like finish the game at 100%, it could be kind of annoying. Yeah, half the hidden stuff I learned from this game I had to learn online because they don't really tell you much of anything. All right, let me see. When did you not have when you don't have a great roster, you have to try different rotations to see what works. No, I agree, but at this point we know that Terry Rozier he's been garbage this year, so he needs to stop playing. Respectfully, I need him to stop playing. He's been awful this year. All right, so let me catch up here. Are you crazy? Brown proven he's the better player. At the very least, he outperformed Tatum in the playoffs like Jimmy does. And to the fact he didn't play in the Olympics was enough evidence not top 10. You do realize that Jason Tatum, you do notice that you keep saying this about Jason Tatum, but yet he's constantly he was on the All-Star team starter. He's a starter. All-Star team starter. All right? And if you look at his numbers, he averages more points than Brown, more rebounds than Brown. I don't know about the assists, but he's the better player and it's not close. And I would argue that Brown, if I remember me and Malta and I think you chimed in as well. If there was anybody who didn't deserve to be an All-Star this year, it was Jaylen Brown. Look at his advanced numbers. He hasn't been that good this year. But Jason Tatum, he's been great this year, like he did this year. And the one thing about Jason Tatum that the one thing I'll criticize Tatum for as good as I think he is, I feel like at times he settles for too many tough shots. Like again, I haven't seen him all this year, but based on the game against Miami, he was getting into the paint, he was getting easy buckets. And when you're that big and that tall, you have to make the game easy for yourself. Like doing those fadeaway 3-point shots all the time. Yeah, sure you can make them from time to time, but there's gonna be time where you have to get your ass in the paint, or get yourself in. You gotta get yourself easy shots. And at least in that game he did. In the game against Miami he did. So yeah, like bro, like you and Moulton need to stop this. Like and then the whole Olympic thing. Like he didn't play because he wasn't good. Like he didn't play because they didn't have because you can't play all 12 guys in a 40-minute game. Remember in the Olympics it's not 48 minutes, it's 40 minutes, 10-minute quarters. And they had too many guys on the team that kind of did what Jason Tatum does. And also, let's be frank about this. Like the older guys were all taking the shots, and let me also say this. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I did it again. Also, let's also be frank about this. Like, I think LeBron was fine in the Olympics, but up until the last game, Steph Curry wasn't good. He wasn't good, but he played. But he played like and LeBron, even though like he didn't play poorly, like truth be told, Jason Tatum should have been playing above him in some games. He should have been because he's younger. He just came off of a championship. It is what it is. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton didn't play. Like we're gonna sit there and act like he's not good. It don't make no sense. And then the last comment you made, Jimmy's not even close to Steph Curry. Reason why he's not looking as good is because he's the only star there. You can double him and have no one to back him up. Now he has someone to back him up in Jimmy Butler. So it'll make him better. But truth be told, he's not the same player he was a couple years ago. And that's fine. He's getting older. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But in order for that team to be great, in order for them to have a chance, yeah, they need Jimmy Butler to at times be the best player, or at least give Steph Curry the room to be great. You know what I mean? When Jimmy's going off, it at least gives Steph, like, it takes the pressure off of Steph. So he'll need that. He'll provide that at least. They just need someone to be a catalyst to help Steph Curry. So yeah, so I mean, I guess that's it for right now. Let me see if I can what I want to do, I want to make sure I answer some of Malta's questions. I'll save them for the Discord. Yeah, I'll save some of these for the Discord. Let me screenshot this. Okay. So I'll address Malta's questions in a bit, but and then I'll summarize my thoughts with this. Right? Like I said, I will always have love for Jimmy Butler. Like the last month or so of him acting like a fucking baby is not going to change that. You know what I mean? It's not going to change that for me. Again, I wish that it was handled better. Not only by Jimmy but by Miami as well. I don't think Miami did everything correct in this situation as well. I like the fact that they suspended him, but that's really it. They should have seen this coming a mile away, but they didn't. It is what it is. Like I said, I always have love for Jimmy, but it was time to move on. It was time to move on. All right, so okay then. Since he wasn't playing, means we have people who are better. And lastly, you also said playoffs are more important. So why doesn't that qualify for Brown not outperforming Tatum? Because a lot of what Brown did was because of Tatum. Because everyone was trying to stop Jason Tatum, not Jalen Brown. Again, I'm not saying Jalen Brown's a scrub. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that the person who's the best player on that team is Jason Tatum. It is. It's not because oh damn. It's not because like him winning Finals MVP and all this stuff is perfectly fine. Like and he deserved it because his numbers showcase that he deserved it. But like I said, like the example that I showed before, there was one year that Joe Dumars won Finals MVP over Isaiah Thomas. Who's the better player? Who is historically the better player? It's Isaiah Thomas. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like the way every team is different, but the way that things are structured, you have one guy, and whatever it is that he does, whether it's help the team get better or what have you, that's what he does, right? And when it comes to Brown and Tatum, both like Tatum is a better facilitator, he's a better scorer, he's a better player than Brown. It is what it is. Like I said, you cannot win it. Like you said this about Jimmy. I'll say that about Brown. If Brown is legitimately your best player, you're not winning anything. You're not. If he has someone like Jason Tatum, who can score from anywhere on the court, who also is a great defender, who's a better facilitator, who's a better all-around player, then yeah, you'll win. The fact that they have both of them is a good thing. There's not an either or situation, but in my opinion, and the numbers prove that for me, Brown over the course of the year, Tatum over the course of not only the year but also in the playoffs, is a better player. He's just a better player. So, yeah, we're gonna always have this debate. I know you're not going to believe me, and that's fine. That's fine. It's not a big deal. But all right, so like I said, going back to the whole Jimmy Butler thing. Yeah, like I said, I will always have love for him, but my allegiances are to the Heat and to the Heat only. Like I don't give a shit what he does in Golden State. I don't wish him any success in Golden State. I don't give a fuck. I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? And I know it sounds weird saying that, when I say I always had love for him. Yeah, of course I do. But he's not a Heat player anymore. And my loyalties are to the Miami Heat. And that's it. Like I said, obviously I don't wish him any ill will or anything like that, but if you're not a Heat player no more, then that's it, man. Especially with the way that you left. Nah, man, I'm good. I'm good, man. Don't let the ass hit you on the way out. On-ball defending Tatum. Tatum wins nothing without Brown either, just so you know. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But if Jason Tatum is my best player, then I feel a lot comfortable as a basketball team than if Jalen Brown is my best player. If Jalen Brown's your best player, you know who you are? I know. I know you're gonna say this is blasphemous, but if Jalen Brown's your best player, yeah, okay, all right. So if Jalen Brown's your best player, in my opinion, you're the Washington Wizards. If he's your best player, if Jason Tatum's your best player, I think you could be decent. I think you could be a good team. You're not going to be a title contender. I don't think so. Very few players, if you bring them onto a team, they'll be title contenders. Very few players are like that. If your team best player is Jason Tatum, I think you'll be good. If your best player is Jaylen Brown, you're gonna be the Washington Wizards. So yeah. So yeah. So let me not end it on Jaylen Brown slander. Like I said, I love Jimmy. I appreciate Jimmy for what he did in Miami, but he's not a Heat player, so I don't give a fuck. I don't care anymore. So I care about what the Heat do. That's all I care about. Anyways, I'm done. Let me get out of here. Oh, join the Discord if you can. Over at the podcast. We hopefully will at some point we'll get back to the podcast. But on that note, the Silver 186, I am out.